welcome to Sketching the World with me, Kat. Today I've got an art haul of some of the things I've been buying this month. Well, all the things I've been buying this month. I've got some restocks, some new colours in favourite materials, and some completely new to me art materials that I want to test out. So let's get started. First up, I've bought a new pencil case. I've got a heap of pencil cases. I do like the stand-up pencil cases like this one that I can take out with me, pop my pencils in, then have it standing there and I can access my materials really easily. The problem I've been finding with this is once my pencils, obviously you use them, they get shorter and shorter, and then they get too short and they get a bit hidden. And so I'm constantly having to pull everything out to find the little short pencils. And that's a bit frustrating. So I've been looking for a better solution and hopefully I've found it. I haven't tested this one out yet. But this pencil case I got from Amazon. It was one of their recommendations that popped up as if they knew what I was thinking. As if they had a hidden camera, a hidden microphone in my house. Whoa. So yeah, this is quite good. You can, first of all, this bit here, it's magnetic, so you can put it down like this. It makes it stand. I need to sort of stretch it out a bit and just fold it up in packaging. Then you can pop this back so you've got more access to your materials. You've got this pocket at the back for bigger pencils, and then a pocket at the front for smaller pencils. And they're not pockets at the side, but I think the pencil's got much smaller than that. You've also got this pocket here. You can put some tiny little pencils in, and also like your pencil sharpener. That's something that I'm always rummaging around trying to find. The other thing that I thought was a selling point is that you can use it as a camera stand and sit your camera here. Then I realised most of the stuff I film is horizontal, not vertical. So unless you're filming something like maybe for Instagram reels or something, it'd be quite good, but not for YouTube. And yeah, so I'm going to have to take this out and test it out. Give it a good test on location to make sure it works fine. I was a little bit disappointed when I watched they had a video on their Amazon page and they fit about 20 pencils in this back pocket. I'm looking at it, there's no way I'm going to be able to fit 20 pencils into this pocket. So that was a bit false advertising. This pocket comes out a bit further too, which is good because it means that you can fill this one up, but you still got a bit of space here. And it's also got a little pocket at the back here that you can put in, like if you're going out for the day and didn't want to take too much stuff with you, you could put like a, what do you call it, public transport card and a few other bits and pieces in there. And you've got everything you need for the day. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to have to take this out and give it a good old test on location and make sure that it meets all my requirements. First thing, pencil case. The brand on it is Windbridge. So I've got this bit here. Oh, that must have the magnet in it because it doesn't come out. There's nothing that you can really do with that. So yeah, so far the only disappointment with this is that keep thinking there's bits there, and I seeing there, and I keep thinking that's a pocket. It's not. Is that, yeah, it's smaller than I was expecting. So then, the next thing, restocks. If you've seen my previous video, you know that my all-time favorite art material is the Caran Luminance Dark Indigo. And I've got a jar that's pretty much, this is my dark indigo jar. These are all getting very short, and I was getting into a bit of a panic. So I thought, yeah, need to restock those. So I won't bother, I will swatch them, just so I've got everything I've bought swatched in one book. It's starting to rain quite heavily. I'm not sure if you can hear that on the video or not. But yeah, just the dark indigo. So I'll pop those all in my dark indigo jar. Next thing I bought, I hadn't seen these before. It's a Posca Pencil. So I've used Poscas a bit with their acrylic paint markers, the Posca acrylic paint markers. But yeah, apparently they've now released pencils, and I wanted to test them out. So this is, I'm not sure if it says the colour on it, blue-green in the Posca. And it's quite a nice pencil. It's a little bit waxy, but it's very smooth to lay down, very pigmented. Posca green. Just try layering that. Seems to layer over the dark indigo quite nicely. And yeah, so this was $2.50. It was less than half the price of the Caran, and it's definitely more waxy than the Caran pencils, which makes me feel that you can't really build up a lot of layers, but it's also quite a nice pencil. I would definitely buy some more of these. I kind of wish I'd bought a couple, because testing out pencils, when you're testing out pencils, different pigments can behave differently. So yeah, it's good to buy a couple just so that you have the comparison. Posca Pencil, thumbs up. Pencil there. Next up, I've been planning to do a video looking at using purples, so this is a bit of a spoiler. I haven't filmed that video yet, but I went to my local art shop and got some purple pencils. So these aren't new materials to me, but they're new colours in some familiar old materials. So first up is Holbein. To be honest, I can't tell much difference between the Posca and the Holbein. This is Holbein, and it's grape. Yeah, I feel like the Posca and the Holbeins are very similar. Next, Prismacolor. My local art shop doesn't sell Caran, so they have Holbein, they have Prismacolor, and a couple of other brands, so that's what I got. This doesn't show up very well on the creamy paper. 10% cool grey. Prismas usually aren't my first choice in pencils because they're not as creamy as the Caran, but still a nice pencil. Goes like layers over that really nicely. I'll try it over this. It's taking a bit more work to layer it over the Posca pencil. And then this is Marigold. This is such a great colour. I always have to check with Holbein whether it's E or I first, every single time. Holbein Marigold. This is a Prismacolor Palmer Violet. And lastly, another Prismacolor, and this is Grade Lavender. Yeah, the Prismacolors, they don't seem to layer as well as some of the other pencils. They do seem to layer better over each other, like Prisma over Prisma, whereas Prisma over Holbein, not so great. So yeah, they're the pencils I bought, and stay tuned for that video that's coming up soon with my using purples. Next up, this is a completely new to me art material. I've used the Faber-Castell Pit Artist pens before, but just their regular ones, and I think this is a fairly new thing out. The dual marker. These are, hopefully that shows up, it's quite a pale colour. This is the ice blue. So you have the very, that's like a fine liner, then the more marker side. I've been looking at these for a while, and one of the things I thought might really put me off using them is that the barrel of the pen's quite thick. So if you're using it like a fine liner, which you would open the other end, if you're using it like a fine liner, it's quite chunky. But now I'm using it, pen, ice blue. Yeah, if you're used to using the watercolor markers and the other sort of chunkier marker style pens, then yeah, it doesn't annoy me at all using it like that. And one of the things I really like about Faber-Castell is they carry the same colors through their ranges. So if you've got this and you have their watercolor markers or their pastels or their colored pencils, you can get the same colors. And I was thinking it'd be quite interesting to use this with the watercolor markers, because this is the Pitt pen. It is waterproof. Once it goes down and dries, that's it. It's not moving. Whereas you could then layer the watercolor marker over it in the same color and have some lines that are permanent and some that will actually react with water. And I just would like to test out and see how that works. But I got these in these two colors because I wanted to get some that weren't the usual colors I have in my palette. So this is the second one I got. This is Cinnamon. She comes out like a terracotta. But once you use the brush end is a little bit, well, the marker end is a little bit lighter in color than the thin tip. Yeah, so if you look there, this is I can't read that, 0.8 millimeter fine liner tip. The other end is the brush. So this is a Pitt pen. Cinnamon. I was about to write Cinnabon. One of the things I'd like to experiment with these Pitt pens is just taking one of them out on location, just a single material, and trying sketching with that. I feel like, yeah, it'd be quite good having the small tip to do your line work, and then having the marker end to add in some tonal values. I think you can actually blend that a bit. This is annoying. I keep opening the wrong end. When it's wet, you can do some blending. You can also layer, which is nice. And it does pick up a bit of that colour once you go over the top. Again, that's with it wet. I think once it dries, there's no blending. No blending with the dry pencil, dry pen, just with it wet. But yeah, as a like single use, what would you call it? Not single use item. If you just want to go out and have one art material in your bag, I think these would be a great choice for that. So yeah, that's the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen Jewel Marker. Bit of a mouthful to say, isn't it? And I have found with these, there's only a very limited colour range in them at the moment. I'm not sure if it's something they've just brought out and they plan to extend the range, or whether they just are going to keep it, I think maybe about 12 colours, 12, 15 colours or something like that. But yeah, very happy with that purchase. So last but definitely not least, I've used the Mungyo oil pastels before. I really enjoy using them, and I saw these are jumbo. They actually call them semi-jumbo, I think. Semi-jumbo, but they are big chonker crayons. Look at them. Because I've been using crayons a lot. I like the idea of less work, more crayon, less work. So the white is very hard to see, of course, on the paper. Then there's like getting a lot of flakiness. They don't have the names on them. They don't have the names. Semi-jumbo, yep. They don't have the names. Let's have a look on the box. No names. I can give them my own names. Yeah, the one thing I don't like about them is it's in this box, but you have to sort of slide that into it, but it fits very tightly, so it's hard to get in and out. I'll probably take them out of the box and put them in my tin with my other oil pastels. So pop down all of these colours. They're quite bright. The other box of Mungyo pastels I've got are more muted colours, but these are still quite nice. Layer them, mix the colours. Green. Blue. Green. This swatching's making me think of, I don't know if other people did this when they were in school, like in primary school, but we used to do art where you would lay down a layer of oil pastels like this, and then get the black and put the black over the top. Yeah, just having the primary colours is always a good way to be able to mix colours. Like once the colour is muted to start with, then you're not getting that sort of pure pigment that mixes well. Always amazes me, to be honest, how people have these really nice swatch books and swatching pages that look so neat and tidy. Whenever I do swatches, I always have to try layering everything over the top of everything else. Okay, it's time for me to stop playing around with these art materials and to go and do some actual work. Thanks for watching this week's Sketching the World. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and like my video. It really helps me and it helps the YouTube algorithm to know what to show you. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, then hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Why is it when I'm writing stuff on camera, I always forget how to spell? And if you bought some fun art materials recently, or some that you were really disappointed in, leave a comment below and tell me about them. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.